Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this box card. It has a belly band that slides off. It opens up and it is actually a little box. This is absolutely ideal if you wanted to give somebody some money or a gift card, or if you wanted to pop a photograph inside, a little letter, lots of different things. It would be absolutely great for. The idea came from Valita's Fresh Folds. I saw her video, she posted the video on the 9th of November in 2010, and I saw it shortly after that. I saved her video in my playlist because I was just so impressed with it. I loved it. And I knew that one day I'd make it, and I saw the video the other day and I thought, oh, it's just absolutely brilliant, I've got to do that. So here we are. Valita, what she did with hers, she actually made some little gift tags that she put inside, which was brilliant because, you know, she was sending her Christmas cards out before Christmas, obviously, and inside some gift tags. So it was a little gift that arrived before Christmas for somebody, and I thought that was a really neat idea as well. So I'm going to show you the card pieces you're going to need. I'm going to change my colour scheme. I'm going to use Crumb Cake this time. So the card pieces you're going to need. The box have been made from a sheet of crumb cake which measures 11 inches by 8¼ inches. I think these camera's a bit too close, isn't it? Let me just move you out slightly. That's better. So this measures 11 inches by 8¼ inches, which is 28 centimetres by 21 centimetres. The belly band measures 1½ inches by 11 inches, which is 4 centimetres by 28 centimetres. And then for the front panels, let me put this back so you can see which bits I'm talking about. From the front panels, you need 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 2 3/8 inches by 5 1/8, which is 6 centimetres by 13 centimetres. You need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. The one that I'm using this time is from Candy Cane Lane DSP. The one on here is from Presents and Pine Cones DSP. And this measures 2 1/4 inches by 5 inches, which is 5 7/5 centimetres by 12.75 centimetres. So you need 2 of each of those. And then for the inside of the box and also the back, because I decorated that one, you need 2 more pieces of Whisper White, and they measure 2 7/8 inches by 5 1/8, which is 7.25 by 13 centimetres. 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, which measure 2 3/4 inches by 5 inches, which is 7 centimetres by 12.75 centimetres. And then for the sentiment that's inside the card, you need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 1 3/4 inches by 2 1/8, which is 4.5 by 5.5 centimetres, and a layer of crumb cake, which measures 1 7/8 inch by 2 1/4 inches, which is 4.75 by 5.75, and then you'll need some scraps of Whisper White for Father Christmas and the bows. So the first thing we're going to do is to make the box. So I'm going to move all the pieces out of the way. I'll move that card as well because I need to bring the scoreboard up. Okay, so we're going to start off with our cardstock on the landscape, and I'll give you the English for not English, the inches first and then the centimetres. So we're going to score at 2 1/2 inches, 4 inches, 7 inches, and 8.5 inches. Centimetres, that is 6.5 centimetres, 10.25 centimetres, 17.75 centimetres and 21.5 centimetres. And then turn your cardstock 90 degrees and score at 1.5 inches rather, which is 3.75 centimetres. And then turn your cardstock 180 degrees and score at 1.5 inches again, or 3.75 inches again. Now we haven't finished scoring, but we've got some diagonal scores to do. So first of all, we need to find what is halfway along here. So with your ruler, if you're inches, it's going to be 1.5 inches. And I think if you're centimetres, it's going to be 3.75 centimetres, but please check that. Whatever is halfway between that score line and that score line. And I'm going to put quite a heavy pencil mark here so that you can see when I start doing the score lines. Can you see that? Yes, that's good. Okay, turn your cardstock around 180 degrees and do the same on the opposite side. So that's marking at 1.5 inches or 3.75. Now what you need is something soft to work on. I'm using the back of a mouse mat. What we need to do is score 2 diagonal lines so it forms a V. But we don't want the V to actually meet up here. If you do, this is what happens. This is my first one that I made. Can you see how that has buckled because it was too close to each other, and as I closed the box it just scrunched up on each other? Okay, so what I'm going to say to you now is, when you're planning where to put your score tool, just leave the tiniest gap between where that one finishes and where this side finishes as well. I also recommend that you don't score too heavy on here either. As long as you've got a line that's going to tell you where you need to fold, that's going to be fine. You just need it to get you started. So what I'm going to use my smaller end of my stylus, and I'm going to make sure it's in the cross there where the 2 score lines fold, and I'm going to put my ruler up against it so I know that that's the right starting point. Now as I'm turning around here, you can see the pencil mark there at this side of the ruler, and yep, you can. And what I'm going to do is I am going to make that disappear, and as soon as it has disappeared I'm going to stop, and that's where I'm going to score. Now I'm only doing a very little score line there. Okay, it has just about come through on the other side, but it's nowhere near as firm as that one. And then we need to do the same to the other side. Put this where the 2 score lines, previous score lines, meet or cross. Put your ruler up against it, and then move your ruler round until you can't see your pencil mark, and then very gently just do a score line there. Now you will see that mine haven't quite met up. It's a bit of a bigger gap that I would have liked, but it stays. Okay, now do the same to the other side. Oh, that was clever. I showed you on the one I didn't do quite so heavily. Right, okay, well you'll see it again anyway. So I'm putting my small end of the stylus into where they cross, where these score lines cross, pushing my ruler against it, and then as I am swiveling my ruler around, you can see my pencil mark disappear, and as soon as it's gone, that's it, I stop and then I score and I'm going to do exactly the same here. Into the cross mark, round to my pencil mark, and as soon as that's disappeared, I do my line. Okay, there we go. That one didn't come through, but it'll be fine. Okay, so you don't have to push it too hard. So that's all we need there. Now we need to do some cutting. So with your cardstock in the portrait mode, we are going to cut up these score lines up as far as the second score line. We're not going to cut it right off, we're just going to cut up to that score line. Now when you're cutting up the score line, don't cut right to the inside edge of the dip there. It's like a little valley in there. Cut actually in the middle of the valley. If you cut too close to the edge here, I'll show you on my second example what happens, and that is you get to see quite easily all this overlap. Okay, and it really isn't particularly nice. I definitely went too far down on that. I obviously tilt it enough you'll see it, even on this one, but from that angle you can hardly see it at all. Okay, so cutting down the centre here, I'm going straight up to the second score line. I'm going to do the same on this side. Now I'm going to cut this bottom section off. So along this score line, now this you can cut the whole of that score line off. Okay, so that score line, the valley bit, is all onto here now. Okay, so we don't need that. But then we need to do a mitre of this corner so that it fits in very nicely when we build our box. Okay, so that's how much I've cut off. Okay, I'm going to do that to all four corners. So I'm going to cut off all of the score line on that one, and then I'm going to do a mitre into the corner, and then I'm going to do the other two sides as well. And then up this one as well. And cut the end one off, score line and all, and then do a mitre into the corner there. Cut this one off, score line and all, and mitre. There we go. Save those, no doubt they're coming useful for something, but not those. Right, what we're going to do next is we're going to fold our box, and it is important that you get some really nice creases, so you will definitely need your bone folder. Now we're going to fold on this second crease, the second score line first of all, and when you go over, make sure you line up correctly there, and then give a really good crease. Then we're going to fold this back on the first score line, turn it over so that we're only working on one piece, make sure it lines up nicely on a good score line, and then we're going to do the same to the other side. Fold on the second score line, make sure it lines up beautifully, a really good crease. Fold back on the second line, turn it over, so make sure you really lined up nicely there, and a good fold. Okay, turn it back so you've got your box looking like that, and then fold the flap, making sure these score lines all match up, and a really good score line. Same on the other side, match, match, that's good. And now we're going to fold these up, making sure they line up brilliantly, and give that a really good fold, a good crease. And this one, make sure that's nice and straight, give that a really good crease. And while you're here, you might as well erase your pencil mark. And then to the other side, fold it over, make sure it's lined up, really good crease. And this side, make sure it's nice and straight. And there we go. Erase your pencil mark. Turn it over. Now we've got to fold on these diagonal lines. So if you just take one at a time and fold it over, and make sure your line is straight across there, okay, and then give that a good crease, and then bring the other one over, and you should find that you have a gap between your 2 points. Okay, like that. And then the other side as well. Fold the first one over. Make sure it lines, this crease, the score line lines up with that score line. Make sure it's all nice and straight. Give it a really good crease. Oops. And then do this one as well. Make sure that's nice and straight. Okay. And there I have a divide as well. Okay, a gap between both of them. Right, so turn it back over again so you have your box like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere the flaps on the inside like that. So that's your box, and that's how it's going to be closing. Right, what you use as your adhesive is entirely up to you. I'm going to use Tombow. If you want to use tape like Fast Fuse, or if you use the red sticky tape, you want to put one piece there and one piece there on all of them. So that's the outside rectangle, outside right angle. But as I say, I'm going to use Tombow. This always happens when, because I always make one of these projects before I do a video, and in the time that it takes me to get myself set up, Tombow decides to get gunged up. Right, so when you come to stick your flap on your box, you need to make sure you get a really nice straight corner. So what I do is I hold this flap and I bring this one up with my left hand and fold it very slightly so that I can feel this one going into the corner, and I've got my bottom finger and my top finger pushing against the edge of this sheet here. And then once I'm happy that that's pushed as far as it will go, then I just push my fingers round to make sure it adheres down. And what should happen is that should come in a nice straight line along there, and you should have a diagonal line coming up here where you did your mitre. Okay, so that's all nice and tidy. So going to do this side. You've got to do this to all 4 sides. Okay, so have it standing up. Get that corner in and then round. If all your lines are straight and everything, that should go round automatically. She says very bravely, because she might get it wrong. Right, okay, let's try number 3. Okay, keep that one upright, turn that one in slightly, push that so it fits into that corner, and fingers to push it round. Okay, so that's another one that's nice and straight. And the last one. Okay, so hold that one up, get that one at an angle, push them together, and then walk the back round. Okay, so there we go. If you've done it correctly, that will fold down like that at the back. Right, and then you need to fold it down, and you will probably need to give it a little bit of a push down to get these to actually sit down nicely. So what I tend to do is, with my box like that, I push one flap over, and then I just go like this again, and like this. And then I will do that on the other side as well. Okay. There we go, works beautifully. If you want to give it a squash from this side down, you can do. It will probably, when you do this, it will probably leave a mark here where you've done the squashing, but that's why I put the sheet on the back. It covers it up. As you can see there, I don't know whether you can see. Yes, you can. There's a diagonal line there where I've gone over with my bone folder, but that's fine. Right, okay, so let's bring our other pieces in. And to start off with, it's really nice and easily, because we're just going to adhere all these pieces together and then pop them on our box. These look like the bigger pieces. This you can use whatever you'd like to, fast fuse, snail, tear and tape, or good old Tombow. Don't forget, if you have a directional pattern, make sure that you've got them up the right way. Okay, so there's one. Two. Now these are the slimmer parts, I think, for the flaps. Now one thing I didn't tell you was where you'd write your message. I'll show you that in just a jiffy. One suggestion is on the back you could put a piece of a decorative shape of Whisper White, so that you could put something on the back there so people could write on there. Or on the inside, I was going to say the inside of the flap, but that makes it sound as if it's inside the box. So it's easier just for me to show you rather than struggling to find the right words. Right. And what I mean is, you could write on the inside of the flap down there. So when the card is standing up on the side, nobody's going to see it because it's going to be facing the back. Right, now I'm going to put these on here. I didn't actually double check my measurements. I normally do once I've cut all my pieces out. So we'll soon find out whether it would have been a good idea or not. That's that one. Here's another thin one. Going to need my glue eraser on that later. I've just allowed it to flick up just there. Right, I'll do one on the back. So once you've made the box, it all goes together really quite quickly. Now make sure you've got it all up the right way. That one. Now this one, it's up to you whether you actually glue it down in there or not. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. One of Valita's suggestions was you could actually write on the back of this if you didn't glue it. So that's another thought for you. Plenty of options with this box card. But I'm going to glue mine. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? I love this paper actually. I think this is particularly nice too. Right, so what we need to do now is our stamping. So I'm using 3 stamp sets. First of all, for my sentiment, I'm using, oh, here we go. And this is from, oops, don't fall on the floor. I'm using this one from Embellished Ornaments with Loving Wishes for a Bright and Beautiful Season. If you wanted to do some gift tags to go in there, Valita did some where she'd used ornaments. I'm not saying this set, but apparently it was a Stampin' Up set. So that I need to stamp on here. I'm not going to use crumb cake because sometimes I think crumb cake is a bit light. So I'm actually using soft suede. And I'm just going to go straight for it. I'm not using Stamp-A-Majig. So hopefully I can do this straight. I mean, how difficult can that be? There we go. That's fine. Alright, so that I'm going to adhere there with my Tombow. There are lots of different ideas of what you could do with this box, how you could decorate them. But obviously I have to keep mine quite simple for the amount of time it takes on the video. Now the other stamping that I need is I want 2 bows. Okay, I want these 2, and I want the Father Christmas. So I'm going to use our archival basic black ink for the stamping. Oh, right, sorry. The Father Christmas comes from the Cooker Cutter Christmas. This one has a coordinating punch to go with it as well. Let's see, the punch, the legs go first, don't they? So let's put that towards the bottom. That's nice. And then we want 2 bows, and this one is a 2-step stamp. And with my 2-step stamps I like to do the outline stamp first. I stand a much better chance of getting the colour in the right place. Now I know I only need 2, but I will just do 4 in case I don't get it correct first time. I'm also going to need that, aren't I? This is the little pom-pom for the Father Christmas hat. Okay, so there's that one as well. So that's finished with the black. Now for the colour inside the bow, I'm going to use Crumb cake. Not that one, this one. I'm also doing 2 just in case I don't like this as first generation stamping. Now this is relatively easy to line up once you've got your black outline down there, but frequently with this I seem to just finish up with a tiny little bit of white. Oh my goodness, I've got that perfect. That's a first. I'm holding my breath here. Okay. Oh, okay, I've missed a little bit of white. That's what I wanted. If you do that, in fact, I don't think you can see down there, can you? So far away. Underneath this bit here, I've missed a tiny little bit of white. Yep, you can see that. So what I do is I just take my marker pen and colour it in, and you really wouldn't know. There's a little bit down the side there as well. There we go. Can't believe I got that one spot on. Right, so we're going to punch these out first, and I'm using the, I think it's the Hollyberry punch, Hollyberry Builder punch or something. The correct name will be on the screen and in the box below. So the reason I've done this on a thin strip is because it goes in along the bottom there, and I'm not wasting too much by having paper up here as well. Okay, so there's that. And there's that one. Right, don't need that. But I do need this end. And this is the cookie cutter builder punch. And this is what punches out Father Christmas, but I haven't painted him yet, have I? Okay, let me show you what I do to paint Father Christmas. Right, first of all I use real red. I do his hat. I've already done one of these, so you're not going to have to watch me do everything. Okay, so I do his hat, his gloves, his trousers, that little bit in there of his jacket, and that, and then this part of his jacket as well. And then for his boots, I don't use black, or for his belt, because there's a little bit of detail here which black would just cover it all up, so I use basic grey. That one there as well. And then for his belt, you see black would cover up that little bit there which we don't want. And then just a square in the middle. I'll leave the rest of it white. You could do with a silver or gold pen. And then I just use I use a Blush Blossom pen for his face, which is this is a retired one. This is the one that I'm putting on Stampin' Up Sandbox, that I think that we should have one of these permanently because it's such a great skin colour. Anyway, my Father Christmas that I've already coloured is here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so that's what he looks like once he's all fully coloured. And then I'm going to punch him out. And then also his little pom-pom. And I just use one of these circles here for that. Okay, so I want that. Don't want these pieces. Oops. That was that. So I'm just going to pop that on with a little bit of Tombow. That's that. With my tweezers. And then I'm going to put a lot of dazzling details all over him. It really does finish him off beautifully. And I'm going to use the 2A glue pen, which unfortunately has retired, but I did buy quite a few of them when I knew it was being retired, when I saw it on the retirement list, because I just think this is beautiful. Such a shame that it's gone. We do have the fine tip glue pen, but I haven't made myself get used to that yet. No doubt I will have to once all these are gone. But in the meantime. So on his beard, on his moustache, on the cuffs, on his sleeves, down the front panel on his jacket, the cuff around the base of his jacket, and then on the cuffs on his trousers. Okay, and then with my dazzling details and my tweezers, just give him a good dunk in there. And there we go, really nice glittery Father Christmas. Yep, you can see that. Right, so, oh, and the other thing that I do on my bows is I go over those with my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. Okay, this only takes a couple of minutes, no time at all. Especially when it's a new pen like this one is. There we go. Right, so the final thing is to do the belly band. And what I do for this is, oh, I haven't put this one in either, have I? Mustn't forget that. Right, what I do for that is I just wrap my belly band like that. Look, make sure I've got sort of the same distance at either end, and then I just fold it round. And then I fold that side round too. And then I get my bone folder, get these two lined up, and then score. Make sure that lines up here and give that a score. And then I'm going to just do a little pencil mark there, so I know just to put my Tombow the other side of the pencil mark. Oops, not that one. Tombow, we need something a bit stronger. Again, this is one of those you can use any glue that you'd like. So pop that down. Now if that is actually in the centre, in fact it doesn't look as if I've cut it particularly straight. Now, is that halfway? That's just over 5. Oh, maybe. If it's halfway on my card, then I will put it at the front. Yes, because I can put Father Christmas over that and conceal the join. I couldn't on that one because I was way out. Okay, so we're going to put Father Christmas on here. And again, I'm going to, if I hold him up to the light, I can actually see through. So I'm going to go just above the cuffs on his trousers and above the cuff on his on the fur trim. Okay, so I know all this is going to be fine. The good thing about this as well, it does help to keep your belly band together if you've got it, you got this over the top. There we go, that's that. And then I'm going to put my 2 bows. You could obviously use dimensionals here as well. These you can put straight or at an angle. I like doing mine at an angle, I think it looks a little bit more relaxed. I'm going to put a couple of rhinestones on there as well. Now to pop this inside, more Tombow, and then open up the box and try and get it straight in the centre. Let me just put it up this way. I think that's straight. Okay, so that's like that. That's Father Christmas. And put our belly band on, hope it fits. Yes, that fits really nicely. Slide that down, and just my 2 rhinestones, which are in here. Not that, try paper piercer. There's that one. Oops, come back. And then there's that one. Okay, so there we have today's project. A delightful box card. And obviously it could be used for birthdays too, doesn't have to be restricted to Christmas. So many thanks for watching my video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm always very happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there's a link in at my website for a Shop Now button, and there's also a link in the box below. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And finally, I will put all the measurements and the products that I've used on the screen. If you're watching on a device that doesn't show that, then it'll be in the box below. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.